Um, Sorry, I'm just getting the camera into position. We're going to cut up some gum here. As you can see, it's fairly dry. It's been sitting for a while here, quite a while, like as in years. So it's well seasoned, and then we're going to split it, and it's going to go straight up the conveyor onto the truck there, and then I'm going to dump it. Here we go. I'm just trying to get this camera in bloody a decent spot here. Of course it was working all right before. That'll have to do for now. We're just going to chainsaw up. So we're just going to get our PPE on here. I might have to run out and grab my I just need to go and grab damn. Alright, we found what we were looking for here. So I'll just show you a couple of things. I gave the saw a quick sharpen up. These are different shorts than yesterday as well. I've got, I don't know, about 20, well, might not be 20, about, how many pairs have I got? I've got a whole bunch of these same pairs of shorts. Just in case you ever think I'm wearing the same shorts, I'm not. I've also got similar looking shirts, they're not the same, but they look very similar. Got 3 of these ones, 3 of another type, about 6 of another type of arborist ones, and then I've got all hoodies as well. Alright, so here we go. I'll just quickly petrol these up. I'll just, what you can see here, I like to warm the gear up. I'm not too sure what you can see, so I'll just keep an eye on that. So I like to use cooking oil anyways. So this is just cooking oil, Pam's canola oil here. I use that lube. Number one, I can get it from Pack and Save. And it's nice and cheap for 5 litres. I think you pay about $8.99 at Pack and Save, Mill Street for 5 litres, or this is 2 litres, sorry. For 2 litres, $8.99. And I just put that straight in the saw here as bar lube, to lube the bar. It's brand new. I don't use recycled. And then, if you look in Subaru, generally there'll be bottles of this stuff. I don't use canola oil so much anymore. I more use vegetable oil because I don't really like canola oil. Because why is that? I then use it at home. If I run out of cooking oil or on one of the fishing trips, there's always this in the back of the car generally, and I can then get it out, fill up, and we're having deep fried bloody snapper, mate. Is it alright? Oh bloody no! Bloody oh freaking bloody no! Bloody no about it. Anyway, then the other thing about that is, I do a lot of cutting, okay? I do a lot of firewooding over the years. I use it in my climbing saws when I'm climbing and dismantling trees. And down all my own wood, obviously. I am an arborist, but what I'm trying to say there is that it has never affected one of my saws or the bar wear on my saw. It works perfectly. And then the next thing about that, let me just fill this up here. Boy, that's just ridiculous, bro. It's got a short spout, you see. It's good when it's full. It's not that good when it's when the drum is full of gas. It's not so good when. Gee, right, boy. You would think I'm a novice. I'm not. Okay. Spilling gas. What a fool. Anyway, so what does that also mean when you use that cooking oil there? You also, so say I cut some plum. Say I go and do a fruit tree job, and then I want to use the wood for smoking fish or cheese. So say we go and, this is some old plum from a job. So say I'm going to go and use that for, it's beautiful plum too, it's an old plum tree like that, so it's got a lot of taste to it. Say I go and use this as cooking for smoking fish or smoking any type of meat or cheese or whatever, mussels, whatever. I have nectarine, I have plum, I've got apple, I've got all sorts of stuff. There's a spider running around on here. I don't really like spiders so much. I have gone and cut this down and I've used cooking oil. So it's good and food grade. So I can use it to cook food because there's no, I've got no like oil on it. I've got cooking oil on it, which is edible, you know, for humans. So it's being used in the saws, and that's just another benefit of using cooking oil. It's not going to taint or make the wood, like for plum or any of that sort of thing, unusable. It makes it usable, along with its cheaper, all of that stuff. So we'll just get our PPE on here, just make sure we got, I'm not too sure what you can see exactly. So that's another benefit of using cooking oil. And I wonder if I'm cut off in these. I just want to just check. I reckon I should be just in the picture, eh? Must be just in the picture. So anyway, we'll just get our PPE on here. I do have a helmet and a face, like a proper climbing helmet with face protection and ear protection. And then I have another helmet that I use for cutting outside. That's not a climbing helmet, but it is more of a ground helmet. The difference is you have to have a strap for your climbing helmet, and you can either wear sunglasses or eye protection like this and have no face covering from your helmet. You can just wear protective safety goggles or like safety sunglasses, and then they come with earmuffs as well, but I use these so I can listen to music while I'm doing it, well, I don't use them in the tree though. Anyway, I just use the helmet. So we'll just warm up the saw here. I did give it a quick sharpen this morning or earlier. We'll just take off our bar. We'll just quickly check. We've got a nice bit of tension there. It's most probably a touch loose, to be honest, but it's okay. It's worn. This bar is brand new. I just bought it a few days ago. And it's takes a little bit to wear them in. They're a bit sticky, I would call it, or they just I'm not really liking that bloody camera as it is. I want to get it a bit better. Can I get it a bit better without it a lot? I don't think so. Sorry, I'm just like trying to... No, I'm not a logger. I'm a arborist and a mechanic. Done a lot of farming as well, and I'm a YouTuber now. Yee-hoo-hoo! Getting paid for the content. Yola! Yola! So that should be okay there, eh? Was it just the same as it was? It is really. Sorry, we'll get into some action in a minute here. We're just going to cut this wood up, and then we will go see your that should be all right there, like that for now. All right, let's get into this. Let's warm the saw up. Here we go. So safety on, or choke on. We'll start it first. Hey, you're not supposed to start the saw on you're supposed to start it on the ground with your foot in the back here, and like this. These newer saws, these bigger saws come with a decompression button. Mate, I start my saw in the air. So a couple of things, I never, say if I'm cutting and somebody's cutting for me or doing some cutting and I'm with them teaching them to use a chainsaw, I will not allow them to, this is called a chain brake here. You hear it come on there, and that stops the chain from being able to cycle around. Whether you give it full gas or not, it will not, generally won't turn unless it's not working properly. And I have a rule that if I have somebody cutting or I'm teaching them, say they're cutting, and then they're going to move to the next cut, I will advise them and ask and tell them that they will put the chain brake on. I just use my front of my wrist like that. I just go like that. and then they will step. They will get ready to make their cut. They will take the chain brake off, and then they will start making their cut. And when they are finished making their cut, they will put it back on, and they will move to the next part, even though it's just a small step like that. And then they will take their chain brake off, and they will start cutting again. And when they are finished, they will put it on, and they will then move or put the saw down. I will have asked them if it's my saw, which it won't be. It won't be my saw. I would advise them to cool their saw down and let it idle for a wee while and just cool it down. But if I catch them and I'll be watching them going like this, sawing away, and then I see them move like that and go like that, I will stop them. I'll tell them to turn the saw off. And then once they've turned the saw off, I'll ask them, why did I tell them to turn the saw off? And why are we stopped? And they will explain to me, and if they either don't understand why they had to turn the saw off or what they did wrong, I'll get that by their answer. But I will ask them a number of times, but why is the saw turned off if they give me the wrong answer? And then they most probably work it out, or maybe they don't. I'll say it's because you cut, and then you went from your next cut, even though it's just right there, like this, and you did not go like this first, and then go like that, and then make the next cut. You go like that, start making the cut, next cut. And I will explain it to them again, and I will tell them the next time I see you do that, you will not be using the chainsaw anymore, and you'll be going home, unless there's branches to drag or whatever. I will allow for them to make that one mistake, and say they get, and if it's been a wee while and then they're just getting tired, whatever, I may let them off a second time. If it's in the first 5 minutes or whatever, and they make that mistake twice, or the first 10 minutes, no way, that'll be the end of their day with the saw, and I most probably won't allow them to use it for a good week or two, whatever. And then they'll be dragging branches, and I will start them dragging branches or throwing rings around, whatever. And then as you know, I'm just talking as just saying, as maybe we're cutting their trees, I don't know, or friends' trees or my trees, whatever. And then they will go from dragging some branches, which is an ugly job, I hate it, or throwing rings around, which I hate as well, back to possibly using the saw, and then I will go and drag those branches. I will go and throw those rings, and I will give them a chance on the saw so that everybody gets to go at doing something different, so it's not too ugly for them. But they make the mistake and they don't listen to what I just showed you, which is this. Making the cut, you'll finish the cut, move to the next cut, take the chain brake off, put it on, you've finished that cut, moving to the next cut, and then take it off and carry on. If they do not do that, it'll be the end of the day on the saw, and they will pretty much, I'll tell them, hey man, you're back to dragging those branches or throwing those rings, whatever it is. I hope you enjoyed and they'll think about it, and they most probably won't do it again. Even when you're, I don't know, it's just a safety precaution that I like to take with anyone using a chainsaw. Generally, I won't let somebody use a chainsaw unless they've got their tickets and all that sort of stuff to use a chainsaw, and I will do the chainsawing anyway. But if they're lucky enough to progress to using a saw, maybe they're like, oh, I've got a chainsaw at home, I'll bring it along. Okay then. Awesome. Or possibly I might let them use a small saw of my own. Generally not. I most probably won't. But anyway, let's warm the saw up. way too loose here. Well, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I wasn't planning to start on that. I'm just going to get it out of the way so I don't trip on it. We can't use it. I've got my hammer holding the phone up. I'm just trying to avoid hitting the dirt with the saw here, and this was not really the plan either. On how we'll just roll this big boy out of the way, and we'll roll this little boy over like this, little boy, still going to be bloody heavy. I tell you what, these rings are all quite heavy. It's all gum. So now I'll just come back in. I like to go in from the back and then up. just let the saw cool down a little touch here. And then I just want to say too, a whole bunch of stuff, is that alright? Ah! Alright, turn that off. And now I like to put the chain cover on, just in case you don't see it and it's sitting there. You go stand on it and, you know, say it's there, you didn't see the bar, and you stand on it and you get the back of your legs and it just goes down like that. It rips all the back of your leg up, whatever, you fell on it, whatever. It just prevents it. I like to keep the bar on, or the cover on, but you also need to make sure that your bar is not hot, which this one is a little bit still too warm for that. It's not that it will be, like, it's not going to catch fire, but I'm going to let that cool down a little bit more, and then I'm going to put it on. So what I will do here is, when I do have my saw out and it's not covered with the bar thing, right in somewhere like this. See that? Where the bar is right up close to something, so you can't stand on it. You would have to try and slide your foot down there. I just put it out of the way, up against something, whether it be another ring or whatever, and it's out of the way until I then put the cover on it. And Yola to the bowler! And Yola, everyone. And then that's out of the way and nice and safe, in my opinion, for now. So what we'll do now is, I just want to talk about a couple of other things. What did I want to talk about? I wanted to say, even though I might not always move with the chainsaw on, I might do opposite of what I've told somebody else to do. There was a part there where I moved and I never put the chain brake on. I'm not saying I do. Well, I do when I don't need technically to put the bar brake on when I move from cut to cut. I might sometimes, but I don't, okay? Doesn't mean do what I do, it means do as I say. If you're in my opinion, until you're in a position where every time you do move a little bit, you put it on. It's so easy just to go like this. It's so easy just to go like that and click it forward and then move. I don't always do it when I'm going between cut, like along the log there. But I make sure anybody that I have on a saw is. And then when they're, yeah, pretty much, bro, be real. Do as I say, not as I do. And then when you're out doing, and I've at least given you the advice that I use to try and not get cut, because I have been moving around with the saw going and fallen over, and I actually fell backwards. Landed on top of the bar while the saw was going, and I was like, and then I sort of like just tippy-toed, got up like real slow off this chainsaw, like, please don't go, please don't go, please don't go, got up, got away from the saw, hold, and then I said to myself, that bar brake better have been on, boy. So when I check it, like when I just fell over and I got up, didn't get cut, and now in my head and saying it better have been on, boy, and checked it, and the bar brake was on, and I was like, lucky, boy, because it's that easy, you know. You you can follow, and it's have the chain brake on when you're moving between, you know, if you're going to walk with the saw and you're going to walk over here, you know, have it on, man, have it on. get ready to cut, and then take the chain brake off and stuff like that. I don't say you have to, like when you're doing stuff with me, that you have to turn the saw off. You don't have to turn the saw off. Put the chain brake on, boom. Even better, turn the saw off. But anyway, let's carry on here. I did have something else I wanted to say, but I can't think of it, and I actually don't care right now. I'm bloody mucking around. I bloody gotta go, mate. I gotta bloody go. It's right. Where you gotta go, bro? Tell them where you're going, bro. No, I'm not telling anyone where I'm going. Tell them what you're really up to, boy. You know you can't. You can't tell them because you're too bloody scared to tell them, aren't you? Bloody tell them where you're going! I'm not telling anyone, man. I'm not. Bloody tell them. Well, I'm not talking to you, mate. I'm not telling them. No, I'm not going anywhere. Just being silly. Anyway. No, you bloody tell them where you're going. Nah, I'm not telling no one. Oh my boy. No, you're bloody nuts. Anyway, I'm not going anywhere. Nothing, nowhere exciting. Not yet anyway. Anyway, so let's just throw these over here. Yep, I could cut these down to a smaller, easily manageable piece. But I had a guy tell me one day, he goes, oh, because he was learning to do some splitting, and I was letting him, you know, split. And he goes, oh, I can't lift up these big ones like that, you know. And I was like, oh, okay. Because these aren't that big. Well, they're big, but they're not that big. And he was like, oh, but I suppose you don't want to cut them in half, because like this piece here, it must be it's pretty bloody heavy, I tell you what, it's heavy. But he's like, oh, you most really don't want to cut it in half and then lose that wood that comes out as this stuff, you know. This is just from cutting those. There's a big massive pile over here, it goes right back. This is just from halving these rings, just halving the rings. Not the rest of the cutting, just halving these bigger rings here. And I never ever thought of it like that. I was like, jeepers, that's quite true, eh? You lose a lot when you're cutting it in half or then even quartering it. It's quite amazing, really, when you go and say it like that, because I actually can see it here. There we go. This is all just from halving the these rings here, and it's deep, you know, like there's heaps of it, man, but it's a lot of wastage just to cut these in half. But anyway, let's throw these over there. So he said that to me, and I never thought about it like that. But anyway, let's think about it like that and throw these rings just over there. And while we're doing that, I'll just quickly warm this up. Excuse me. So here we go. One second here. Alright, so yesterday I got some engineering. I don't know how to type it in here, but it's Neil Precision Engineering Limited. Neil, N-E-I-L, Precision Engineering Limited. What a guy, man. I'm gonna put him into a few of my videos, business and pictures of his business, just because he was such a helpful guy, so close to so close to Christmas. He was closing up. He could have gone home, said, oh nah mate, I'm shutting shop. He wasn't even in his shop. He was coming back from the Waitomo area. What a guy. Neil's Precision Engineering Limited. It's here in Hamilton, but it's worth the drive, man. The guy is excellent. The work quality is excellent. He does not muck around. His price is excellent. Look him up. What a guy. We're hopefully going to be doing a bunch of stuff together. I've got some stuff I need done as well, and then there's going to be some other stuff he wants done by me. And it's not the reason why I'm talking about it. The reason why I'm talking about it is because his service was amazing, especially on the 19th of December when everybody else is closing their shop and I run around, and he was the only one who took any interest. And hey, hey, I've got it pre-planned from months or weeks ago. I rang him and took it straight in there on a day where he was already ready to go home pretty much and wasn't in his store. Neil's Precision Engineering Limited. Also, tool shed, class 5 earmuffs, 5-year warranty, and they're Bluetooth as well, and they're just super durable. I wear them out on all my boating trips. I wear them at work, I wear them in the rain, I wear them on my boat. I've fallen off my boat with these on and they've gone under and they still were working. They're excellent for this sort of thing. I can be working right now with the chainsaw, with whatever, the splitter here, on my tractor, on whatever I want, and a phone call could come through. I'm then taking it with hands free and can carry on working. Tool shed, class 5 earmuffs, 5-year warranty, and also Bluetooth, and they're just excellent, man. They cycle between your devices with, they're the most easiest to use and the most efficient at making it easy for you to use. If you turn something off, it'll just cycle. If you want it, you got to get a pair to see how good they really are. Tool shed Bluetooth earmuffs. They're around 99 bucks, but they do have them on special every now and again. And we also wear high-tech shoes. These are my actual work shoes. These are not the ones I wear on the boat. And then I have a waterproof pair for work. And then I have casual pairs that I wear in the street that look nothing like that are trendy as. I'll show you them. High-tech shoes. Again, this machine here needs hydraulic fluid in it. You can see it when it's getting to the end of the cycle there. It's jittering around, and it needs some fluid in there, but I'm not putting any in. It's got a very slow leak from one of the seals, and I'm not putting any in because I'm going to do a massive clean of the hydraulic system and then put some oil in there. I've got a ton of it at the front here. I'm just not putting it in at the moment. So it would actually be quite a lot quicker than this, and you can actually change a whole bunch of stuff on it to make it faster, and all sorts of other things. But I never got nailed. I never got nailed. I was just pretending. Oh, no, just pretending. I never heard a hair on his pretty little head. But your noodle ain't limp, lover boy. We'll just let these cool down. And that'll be us for now. I'll be back maybe later with something better, something more exciting, and we'll see what you're doing. That's me, I'm done for now. Hope you enjoyed it, and quick tip, I'll just wait till it cools down a bit here, and I'll just show you something that I want to show you. I most probably won't be able to do it that easily. Did it look like I got nailed, eh? I didn't. I just did that. Pretended. So, alright, so let's just turn this all off here. I'd most probably let this go for a little bit longer than this. But what I wanted to show you is this. So say you're gonna split, because this bed's longer than, you know, any sort of pieces we would use here in New Zealand. And see how that's quite flat there? See, it's a nice flat surface for the piston to push on here. Nice and flat, pretty flat, you know. But say you put another piece here, like this, and you're going to push onto there, and then onto the knife, you see. This is where you could get the possibility of it jumping out. You want it to be nice and flat onto flat, you know, like, so another edge like this at the front here. See how this is quite a flat edge, even though it's got a big V in here. You'd still have to be careful, because this could load up on the small area here and then just shoot out. You've got to be really, really careful, okay? So it'd be better if this was a nice flat piece all the way along, and then you got a nice flat, quite big surface. It's not really going to jump out so easily. But with a small surface like this, even though it's flat, you would have to be very, very careful here. And then when you get the grain of the wood, which is going this way, you want to split with the grain of the wood. When it sits back in like that, see how it's not sitting? It's actually, to get it to be flat, it's about that much of a movement to get it to be flat, you see. But it's more when it's like that. And then the piece will come in, move forward, or it's like, or when it's like that, or sideways. See, that's a vertical angle. We want a side angle. We're trying to get a side angle here, and it's not really working. But where it's not meeting properly like this, you got to, if it was, say, like that, rather than flat like this, and even though there's a vertical angle there, that's gonna most probably make that piece go flying out. And once that's under pressure, that will come out of there enough to frickin' smash your teeth out, smash you in the head like you would never believe. That will really, really, really hurt. If not, get you in the stomach and the leg, who knows. But on the angle, it could fly out, smash the truck straight in the bloody in the, you know, smash a window, whatever. But if the angle's sideways like this rather, and it's not meeting, that's more what I'm talking about. But that, like that, doesn't make any difference really. But that's a vertical angle. There's another vertical angle which just changed, and then we want the side angle, which is not, I'm not going to get it from this piece here really. Super dangerous if you went into there. So anytime that it's not cut quite straight here, which is quite often, you might be cutting on a hillside, you might be, you know, you've got a nice cut straight angle, semi-straight angle there, which is nice. Gonna butt up against the bed or the piston here, nice. Where again, this is another sort of a vertical angle here. We're not getting a nice, but you can sort of see what I'm saying anyways. If you see what I'm saying, just to be saying it, mostly get it better from the other side there. Ethan bloody make me walk around here! I bloody know. Shh, shh. Anyway, we're not going to get it here either, but the angle is way off. The angle there's way off now, and once that pressure's up, it's nice and semi-flat there. It's not super flat, and then it pressures up over here, and say that does not go through there nice and just easy. It will build up there, build up, turn to, and then just let go like a freaking missile, man. Anyway, take care, everybody. Be careful. If you are splitting, pay major attention. I know it looks like I might not be mucking around a little bit here and there, but I've been splitting wood for freaking years, and that doesn't make it any different. You got to have your wits about you. 1 minute you'll be splitting wood, next minute you're off to the hospital with no fingers, or a massive broken hand, a massive piece of wood smashed you in the face, broke your nose, got you in the eye, whatever. Make sure you wear your protection. I've got better goggles than these. They're full like skiing goggles, and they fully right round. I'd advise wear eye protection, ear protection, unless you like listening to heavy, loud noises. I don't. And then, yeah, anyway, hopefully we're going to have some good little discounts going at some of these stores I've been talking about pretty soon. So don't be shy. We're going to have some apparel coming out. So don't be shy. Hello's Peter Rousio. We might have a couple of, I should have done a little prize giveaway for all of you, but I haven't. I sold it. Oh bloody no. Anyway, keep safe. Hopefully I might come up with something different this afternoon, plus something regular too, and we might see you there. Anyway, Yola, and thank you very much for your support, and have a great afternoon. And Yola, it's out. It's splitting time. It's splitting time. It's splitting time.